Point 4 Unbeatable Supermom Mary Com. There had to be one successful story if Indians were to survive in sports, and we have that story now. Enough has been said about this great warrior who conquered the world. This warrior is none other than Mary Montcalm, the conqueror and the comrade. She is famed as a 5 times world boxing champion and the only boxer to win a medal in every one of the 6 world championships. In the 2012 Olympics, she became the first Indian woman boxer to qualify and win a bronze medal in the 51 kg flyweight category of boxing. Com was born in Kangthai village, Moirang, Lamkhai in Charanchandpur district of rural Manipur in eastern India. She came from a poor family. Her parents, Mangte Tompa Com and Mangte Akham Com, were tenant farmers who worked in jhum fields. Com grew up in humble surroundings, helping her parents with farm related chores, going to school and learning athletics initially and later boxing simultaneously. Her father was a keen wrestler in his younger age. She had an eager interest in athletics since childhood, and the success of Dinko Singh, a fellow Manipuri, returned from the 1998 Bangkok Asian Games with a gold medal. Com recollects had inspired many youngsters in Manipur to try boxing, and she too thought of giving it a try. Mary Com's career started in 2000 after her victory in the Manipur State Women's Boxing Championship and the Regional Championship in West Bengal. In 2001, she started competing at international level. She was only 18 years old when she made her international debut at the first IBA Women's World Boxing Championship in United States, winning a silver medal in the 48 kg weight category. Her greatness is reinforced by the way she apologized to the whole nation for not being able to win the gold. She is a legend for sure and an idol for all the sportsmen to look up to. An interview in an exclusive interview with Sportskeda correspondent Taruka Srivastava, Olympic bronze medalist Mary Com talked about her preparations for the Olympics and her elation at winning a medal. Interviewer: first thing first, you are the first Indian female boxer to win an Olympic medal for India. Has the feeling completely sunk in? Mary Com says, I'm I'm really happy with my achievement, and yes, it is yet to sink in. I'm just so exhilarated. Interviewer says, you were the only female representative from India in boxing. Did that put additional pressure on you? Mary Com says, no, not at all. I was pretty confident about myself. I knew. Interviewer says, your coach Charles Atkinson was not allowed to accompany you to the Olympics. How did that affect your preparations? Mary Com says, well, I did miss him there, but thankfully we had already done our homework and I was well prepared. Interviewer says, during your preparations for the Olympics, you sparred with the male boxers of the Indian contingent. Who was your favorite sparring partner? Mary Com says, well, I trained hard in Pune and the male boxers were kind enough to practice with me whenever I required them. To name a favorite would be unfair. Interviewer says, you were quoted saying Adams was very clever, a counter puncher, but although she carried power, she wasn't very tactical. I was scoring, but the judges were not pressing the button. Do you think dodgy judging was part of the reason for your loss in the semi-finals? Mary Kom says, yes, I think some of the decisions were unfortunate and did not work to my benefit. Interviewer says, India managed just 6 medals in the 2012 Olympic, even though we are a nation of 1.3 billion people. Where do you think a change is required to get help us win medals that are proportionate with our population? Mary Kom says, I think more and more people should take up sports as a full time career. If we want more gold medals, more corporate should come in and sponsors play so that the players don't have any financial pressure and can just focus on their games. Interviewer says, do you think interest in boxing in India will ever go beyond the Olympics? Mary Kom says, yes, I'm sure that in a few years boxing will be a very popular among everyone in India all the year around. Interviewer says, how aware are Indians women of their nutritional requirements? Diet and nutrition must have been a key factor in your conditioning for the Olympics. Do you think nutrition is a neglected area in Indian sports? Mary Kom says, the awareness is growing now among the female athletes. When it comes to nutritional requirements, nutrition has definitely been a neglected area in Indian sports. I had to gain 3 kgs since I had to fight in the 51 kilogram event instead of the usual 48 kilograms that I fight in. So I had to focus on what to eat. I gain weight by eating the right kind of healthy food rather than bad saturated fats. Interviewer says, how big a role did OGQ play in shaping the boxing scene in India for the better? Mary Kom says, OGQ really played an important part in my success. They helped me out whenever I needed something. They took care of my everything, which helped me focus on my boxing and kept me stress free. Interviewer says, what's your opinion on the future of Indian boxing? Mary Kom says, the future is very bright, and I am sure many more boxers will get medals for us. Interviewer says, do you find it difficult to convince your children not to fight when they watch you go out and do it in style all the time? Mary Kom says, well, I have twins, and yes, sometimes it becomes really difficult to keep them under control. Interviewer says, will you train your kids to become boxers as well? Mary Kom says, I haven't really thought about it. As of now, just let their mother box. Interviewer says, you have broken several stereotypes of about the women in India by showing that women can compete with men in any field. But how good are you at the traditional feminine activities like cooking? Mary Kom says, well, I am good at cooking and other household work too. Interviewer says, would you be interested in coaching Indian women in boxing one day? Mary Kom says, let's see in the future. Maybe, yes. Interviewer says, what do you prefer, being called Supermom or Superboxer? Mary Com, I love being a mom. That's the best thing that has ever happened to me.